Slovenia, Mama Mies, Mama Masa. You don't know that song?
No, I don't know that.
From The Lion King?
I ain't watch no Lion King. I watched Lifetime.
You know that's going on air, right?
What's that?
That's going on air. I'm posting that.
What? Did I watch Lifetime?
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with me watching Lifetime.
Lifetime has some good movies.
I like, I just found a couple good black movies on there. Lifetime.
Oh, that's what's up.
They got yeah. I just found it. I've been watching a couple of them.
All right, welcome back to another edition of the NoStoppingKev show. We back at it again. It's been a long week, but I'm feeling good, living better. A little warm up in the studio today. Let me unzip this.
Yeah, I couldn't say that.
How you doing? I mean, you looking fresh today.
Well, I'm trying to stay fresh in this new gear.
Gotcha. So how you living?
I'm good. I'm feeling pretty good today. Glad to be back here this week. As you say, the week has went kind of fast though.
Oh, for you.
But I guess it's been a long week for you though.
Yeah.
So let's go at it.
Yeah, let's go.
All right.
What's up?
So how you feeling this week?
Pretty good, man.
You get ready going to start the season off next week.
Yeah, Coach Beeford is back.
Yeah. So how do you feel about going into the season next week?
I'm looking forward to it. I think it's been on my mind quite a bit the last couple of weeks. Like, I've been finding myself looking at or thinking about plays in my head, figuring out how I can tweak them. And this past week was the first time I was able to, make an open gym down there to kind of see a little bit of the talent pool that's out there. And so it was just a good experience just to see kids in there working hard. And, I'm looking forward to just seeing what we can do this season.
So, since you're going into the season, I just want to ask you a couple of questions, about this.
Oh, yeah.
What have motivated you or inspired you to start coaching?
I think that I always like being around the game of basketball. And so I started coaching. This would be, my fourth season? Wow. Yeah, so I started coaching, I think, my senior year of college. Senior year. And so one, I just wanted to be around the game of basketball. Two, mentoring is something I'm passionate about. So like in college, I was involved with a Saturday mentoring program where middle school students from Philadelphia came to Penn's campus. And we basically, did different activities with them for a few hours every Saturday. But, I think that coaching is something that I've always considered. And, I was given an opportunity to do it at high school that I played at. So that was a great opportunity for me. I got to work under one of my former coaches. So that just kind of sweetened it even more. But just wanting to give back and be able to mentor young men from the same background as mine. I think that's what really motivated me to, just kind of go for it and do it.
So, have you any goals set for this season?
Yeah, I think that, so, of course you always want to win. So, prior to, I think 2 seasons ago, our school had never made the playoffs. And so we were able to kind of check that off our bucket list. Going into the season, I definitely see it being an uphill battle because we lost a lot of seniors. We lost the school's first 1,000-point scorer. We lost another.
You got a 1,000-point score?
Yeah, Jalen Watkins. He's playing at Arcadia.
Okay.
So definitely missing a big piece there. Missing a lot of veteran guys. Missing another guy that can go out and score 25 points just easily at the guard position. So, we got a lot of new faces coming into the gym this year, similar to last year. But I think we lost a lot more going into this year than last year. So to get back to your question about goals, definitely want to finish the season with a positive record. Definitely want to get back to the playoffs and win some games. But I would also like to see my guys do well off the court. So either improve or maintain, their academics. If they're a 3.5 student, like that, they'd be even higher, or at least prove that you're able to remain the same caliber of the student while adding on a little bit of responsibility. And I think that playing basketball, being a student athlete, kind of allows you to build a new skill set almost, because you're juggling a lot, and then you're learning a lot from participating in your sport. And me and Coach Dev, we push our guys. We try to test them in a lot of different ways so that we're ultimately preparing them for life.
That's good because, my coach Ritten, and, I usually talk a lot about him because that's one thing that he used to always say. He didn't prepare us for basketball, but he taught everything through basketball. And it was good because, like, he used to relate life in terms of using basketball to teach and to teach us. I really think that's a good there. And like the goal is like it's attainable.
Mm-hmm.
So like so let me ask you, what qualities have you learned from coaching?
So I would say going back to, there's so many, but going back to year one of my weaknesses used to be that I'm a very impatient person. So coaching, I think, has made me a little bit more patient. And I noticed that, even off the court, sometimes I'm able to kind of take a deep breath and just not go full berserk. So I'm able to dial it back, really assess. I think I'm able to better communicate, because you got to understand that not everyone, you can't communicate to everyone the same way. Some people respond differently to different things. So it's not one size fit all. So I definitely had to get, I guess, more versatile in my communication skills. And I think that it really forced me to kind of grow as a leader. I think that throughout, most people would probably look at me as being a leader somewhat just because I was captain when I played. Even in college when I was part of the bench mob, I think I was a leader in just being vocal and helping guys that were out on the floor. And, just coaching, it's my job to kind of show them the way. Put them in positions to be successful. And, that's something that I try to do day in and day out. And especially when you're in positions where, you got to kind of stand up for them in different instances. Because I've had that happen before where, like another coach tried to approach one of my players and, you got to kind of step in there and be like, no, you got to deal with me, buddy. So it definitely has forced me to grow in that area. But I think the biggest area I've probably grown in is just the critical thinking aspect, because in the midst of a game, although I've been an assistant, I'm trying to figure out all the areas that we can exploit. I'm that second set of eyes. I'm a X's and O's kind of guy too, so it's always figuring out like what can we do, how can we tweak a set in the middle of a game with a million things going on so that we can get an easy basket, or what can we do to really disrupt their rhythm. So I think kind of thinking of things on the fly is probably one of my favorite qualities that I've seen grow. And one of my favorite parts of coaching is like coming out of a timeout. Like I love going into timeout so I can pull out the dry erase board, draw something up, and see our guys go out there and execute it. And it's a lot of pressure. It's just handling pressure too is a big thing.
I guess that is good too. And another thing, like you touched on it in similar a couple times. Like dealing with the players, you was talking about like sometimes you gotta read your players like different because you may have 10 to 12 players on your team, and like sometimes you gotta you dealing with different attitudes, different people that come different ways. How do you really just motivate the different or do the different attitudes and all like that?
So I'll say with dealing with high school students, they're at a very, I feel like it's a volatile age. Like you don't know, you have some guys that are pretty consistent. They're gonna come in there. Then you got the guys that's gonna have their ups and downs, right? So I don't know which guy's walking in which day. He might be having a good day, he might be having a bad day. So I think one of the biggest things that I found to help me be successful in, kind of managing, I guess, whatever you want to call it, the different personalities, has been really building that relationship with guys. So it's like the more that they understand, like I'm coming from a good place, that I just want to push them, the easier it is to kind of break through those walls. So if you got a guy that's frustrated, definitely coming to him with that encouragement when he needs it. And it's just all about reading your guys and understanding, what makes them tick, what frustrates them, understanding what they got going on off the court, because that's a big thing, especially in that 14 to 18 range. That's a big development age for people. So it's kind of understanding, okay, I know he's dealing with this off the court, so let me make sure he's okay before I go to expect him to be his normal self today in practice or today in a game. Because if something's a little off, maybe we can, talk about him. I can help him with that first, right? And then he's like, all right, you know what? I'm feeling a little bit better. Now he's able to use basketball as more of an outlet to help him through that situation. And then ultimately he's having fun. He's helping the team, and he's more engaged that way.
So let me ask you, what do you expect out of your players?
As far as what?
As far as, on and off the court.
So on the court, it's funny. I was telling a group of guys this the other day. I expect effort. I just want you to come and work hard. I understand not everyone's going to be the most skilled guy on the floor. Not everyone's going to have the highest IQ. But one thing that I constantly preach throughout the season is effort, because that's something you can control, right? You don't got to be the best at something, but if you give 110%, that'll go a long way. The other one is focus. So I need guys fully engaged. No side conversations. I need you to be fully focused on, because you do a lot of teaching too. For a lot of guys that are on my team, it's like their first time playing organized basketball or playing basketball under a coach that's really trying to teach them the game. So I do a lot of breakdowns. I don't like having to repeat myself, especially if I know you were a little distracted. So on the court, I'm just expecting effort, hard work, whatever you want to call it, and focus. I need you to be engaged. Off the court, I just need you to take care of business. So I don't need you getting in trouble in school. I need you to keep your grades up so you can stay eligible and not let the team down, because everyone, that we pick to make the team, like, you're there for a reason. We see value in you being a part of the team, so we want you to play or be available to play. Because if you're not helping us in games, you can help us in practice. There's always something you can do to add value. And ultimately, when you're taking care of business off the court, that's what really matters. Like, I don't know if I'll ever coach any guy that goes to the NBA, right? But if you're taking care of business off the court, now you're setting yourself up to, go to college if you want, learn a trade. Just put yourself in position to be a better person. And, with that comes that accountability piece that we always preach about. So, like, you have your responsibilities, you have your schoolwork, whatever you got going on at home. You have basketball. Can you manage all of that? So now that's a extra skill that they're learning to make them more successful in the long run. Because in life, you're going to have to juggle a lot of different things.
Well, since you're talking about that and balancing, like, how do you balance your schedule and your thing? Because, you are a very busy person. You have a lot going on. So how do you balance yours?
It's definitely a challenge. And, even when I was in school, it might actually been easier back then. Because, in college, you might have classes for a few hours each day. Then you can go do some work, have some me time, go to the gym and hoop. go coach, and come back, do some more work. Now that I'm, got a career, it's a little bit different. Kind of got that 9 to 5, although I can break my day up different ways. But, one thing it comes down to is trying to stay organized and get ahead of things. So usually when the season starts to roll around, I'll probably stay up late like 2-3 nights in a row. Like I might work till like 2 a.m. just to get ahead of some things, right? So now, like once I know I'm ahead, it's about just maintaining that, right? So I'll say traditionally I procrastinate a little bit, but because I know I got a coach, I got work now, I got a podcast. There's a lot of different things there, so I got to kind of stay ahead of the game. So one way I do that is I have my little weekly to-do list. Then I have a calendar to kind of go with it. So my day is kind of segmented. So, for the bulk of the daytime, that 9 to 5, that's work time. Then it's like, all right, I got practice. And, I just kind of go from there with it. So I'm just really segmenting my days. Sometimes it's tough. And then you got to put in a lot of hours. So that's that sacrifice component, which is something we preach to our players. Sacrifice, trust, and discipline are like our 3 pillars. And so that's always one of the things that I tell them I live by firsthand. Because you definitely give up a lot to coach. So I probably won't sleep that much for the next 2-3 months. But it's worth it. It's fulfilling.
Well, I always have to talk about this or really always bring this in. Is it really fun what you do?
Yeah, I love doing it. Even the most frustrating days, I can leave practice. For instance, I can leave a practice pissed off, right? Maybe the kids, they didn't come with that effort and focus that I wanted. They didn't meet my expectations on a given day. But at the end of the day, I kind of still enjoy being a coach because it's another challenge. I think it was last week we talked about, attacking challenges. And I just look at it that way. It's like, okay, today's practice was terrible. We got practice again tomorrow, or we got a game tomorrow. How am I going to get them to bounce back? And it's always challenging on a game day because we got to go out and perform, right? It counts. It's like, so how do you get them to kind of refocus, get them remotivated so that they're ready and able to go out there and give their best? So that's one of the things I do.
Well, they're the questions that I had for you, and I'm glad to hear. And like I say, I guess it comes from the love of the game that you have. I remember early on when I was young, we used to play at the Y. So, like some of my coaching and stuff came from early because we used to play in one league and then we would coach in the other league, the league by. So, I know coaching can give you a great feeling, and especially just helping people,
Yeah.
and like for me, like part of just doing this, is something like that, to just be trying to help somebody, just to love to reach out and touch somebody, as you could say.
Yeah, it's funny because, we're going to have a lot of new faces again this season. So I just know it's going to be at least one kid that I see a lot of potential in. They're not going to see it in themselves, or they may somewhat see it. But the kid's probably going to think I hate them. But that's not the case. I'm just pushing them to be better. But one of the most fulfilling things is when, you kind of have those breakthroughs with kids. And I've kind of talked about this before, where, you kind of have that heart-to-heart so they know where I'm coming from. And the next thing you know, that kid's hitting me up for an unbasketball-related advice. Just like life advice. And it's like, that's why I coach. A lot of people will do it because, they like basketball or they just want to do it for their ego. But I really do it to help my students. It's a good space for me to kind of give back and be involved in these guys' lives. And so when I see them start to develop and mature,
Right.
it's a great feeling. Like one of the guys that's probably he's gonna start for us. I don't know at the 1 or at the 2, but just seeing his growth over the last 4 years has been phenomenal. Like this kid would, he just, he didn't have the maturity to like hold his composure together. So when adversity would hit, he just would become explosive and he would kind of check out. He'd just start running his mouth. And so, I got to a point where I could say, listen, bro, just stop talking for a second and listen. And, he used to take it personal, but he's like, oh, no, because he knows that that's a habit of his now. So I can tell now when he gets frustrated, his focus is different. Like, he's like, all right, let me really figure out what I need to do here. And now that's one of the guys I trust the most on the floor. Like, he started taking minutes from a senior last season, all because I knew he was going to go in there, he's going to play defense. He's going to make the right basketball decision when the ball was in his hands. And he was just a good fit. And he became a leader. So before, you go back 2 seasons before that or a season before that, he'd be on the bench moping around. Like, he became a laughing stock for a minute. Because my players would kind of see my reaction, and when I look and I see a guy slouching on the bench, looking disengaged, and have to call him out. But, he'd be coming off the bench, and he'd the loudest one. He telling everybody else to get hyped. So just seeing him go from the guy who would be so disengaged to the guy making sure everyone else is engaged, that's probably like the most fulfilling part of coaching for me, is seeing these guys develop.
Well, I look at, like, sometimes coaching, your coach, your teacher, and you somewhat of a parent. So, like, I think coaching really helps coaches too, because, like, the enjoyment, just like you said, like, what, you may not see a student make the NBA, but it's still gonna be a good feeling to see him succeed in life, and have, like, with you, I never expected you to make the NBA. I never really even cared like that. But you went to school. You wound up going to a prestigious school. So that was fulfillment. And just like that, and I even had a little experience in coaching you.
Yeah, what made you coach back then?
What made me coach? Because for me, coaching, I love the game. And I love to help. I love to help other people, and that way, like I'm saying, to teach someone, to show someone. And then, to see some enjoyment when you help somebody improve and get better.
Mm-hmm. That's probably one of the real reasons I started wanting to coach, is when you used to coach our team at the Y. I feel like, well, one, definitely look up to you. So probably was inevitable at that point. So that's just, I guess, a testament to the importance of having a father present. But just seeing how you took a team. Remember, we did the point guard swap, so then I got traded to your team.
Right, yeah.
And then I think I definitely left a team that had more talent. I think the team that I left probably had players that were a little bit better, across a lot of different positions. But you were able to still put us in position to where we will win. So I think, like, Yusuf was a comparable guard to, he might have been an upgrade at the 2, although Keenan could flat out shoot the ball from anywhere in the gym, even though we were like 10 years old. He had Steph Curry range before Steph was a thing. Yeah. But then we just had a bunch of role players that would kind of rebound. And, before we knew it, they were hitting the big shots in the playoffs. Because I went into a little slump. And those guys were really able to step up. But you put us in position to be able to do some things, whether it was defensively, switching up our schemes at different points in the game. Like, you remember you used to have 1 and 2? Yeah. Like, 1 was our zone, 2 was like, you go pick them up, you go blitz the ball.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And that really kind of kept teams off there, kept them on their toes. And so that's something I try to do as a coach now, too. It's like, all right, I'm going to get them comfortable, but then we gonna hit them with some of our stuff. We're going to go in our bags of tricks. And that's like the fun mental part of the game.
Just having, like I say, like, sometimes just bringing the best and having somebody do what they do best, or showing them how they could do best, or just making them, when they contribute to win. To win, it makes them feel good. It got to feel good. You know, you played a part. Now it ain't have to be the star, but you helped the star.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you know what? If it wasn't for him getting rebounds and getting the ball to you, it's like a team thing and bringing somebody together. And then another thing about coaching, when you can try to out coach the other coach.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah, it's a battle within itself.
Yeah. That's the competitiveness in you. You know, bringing in out of a coach, like you said, when you got love, then you're gonna take it that much further, and you do have love for it because of what you're doing now. Because you know, coaching, you didn't have to do this.
Yeah,
You know,
definitely love doing it. And I think that going back to when you used to coach, like I learned so much about like the rules of basketball.
Yeah.
So that now when I'm coaching, I can kind of pull out those bag of tricks. Or even when I'm playing in rec leagues, like the 10-second count. You know, you just stand in the back like you're trying to kill a clock. Like just walk it up. Use all 9. You can basically stand back there and call a timeout right before. And you know, I think in it like NBA and maybe college, it doesn't reset. I'm not sure, but I know in like our leagues in high school, you get a fresh 10 count. So it's like, all right, we just gonna get it, walk it up, go cross half court, and then we can just call timeout, and then we gonna throw it in the backcourt again, waste some time. And if the other team isn't thinking about pressing or anything, you know, I'm gonna do that, and here we burn 30 seconds off the clock. Or, you know, like the other night last week at the rec league game where we got fouled before inbounding the ball. Like you're supposed to get 2 shots in the ball, but I remember you did that back when you were coaching us. You was coaching the All-Star game when I was playing for you, and you know they had us all mixed up. So you knew one of our players was a bad free throw shooter, so you made us go foul him anyway.
Right. Yeah, like that game. Yeah, that ref he was supposed to give y'all 2 shots and the ball back.
Yeah.
You know.
So it's just even those things, and you know, knowing like when you can run the baseline, and like that's a lot of things that a lot of my players don't know.
Right.
So just seeing their IQ kind of grow, you know, that's something else that's pretty fulfilling for me.
You know, and the thing, or another thing that you were saying, you at the stage where you coaching at right now, it's going to prepare people for life and to go on with life.
Mm-hmm.
And like now, you know, like that's like really kind of important, you know, because like you're going to be their next step to whatever they're going to do, whatever they're going to go. So it's important to like in their life, because some of them going to go to college, some people going to go out in the work field. So you can instill good habits with them.
Yeah.
And it start like I know you were saying before, like being a leader, you are like the head. Like I said, you are the head. So like, you know what? And some people pick up on it. I know that I picked up, and like I learned so much from my coaches. And like I said, like in all, like most coaches, like I can't say all coaches, but a lot of them about teaching you and helping you with life. Mm-hmm. It's not just about on the basketball court. You know, this is something that we do and something that we can relate and get to some people. And these people may look up to us and be glad. Because I remember, like, even when I used to help at the Y when you was there, how the players, or what to call them, you know, just start liking me because, you know, just being there. Just to show them, then they believe in that you can teach them and you can reach them. And like, you know, that's what we need, mentors like that too, you know.
Yeah, and yeah, that's true, and you know, that's what it's all about. You know, my coaches tested me mentally and physically on the court, but it was all with a greater purpose, and so definitely try to still do that. And you know, next week it all begins for me. So Coach Beeford is back, or Coach Kev, as they call me.
Well, you know, like I said, I'm going to make it there. As long as I'm off, I'm going to be there.
Oh, yeah, come through. Check us out.
I'm definitely going to be there.
Get some pointers.
I'm definitely.
Because yeah, you definitely got the coaching bug. I wish you would have been coaching us last Thursday in the rec league game, because, you know, after what you said on the ride home, I was able to kind of go through that scheme in my mind, and I was like, yeah, I wish you would have done X, Y, and Z.
You know what's funny? When I was sitting on the sideline, You know what? Remember when you first started playing basketball, and I used to try to sit down, but then after a while, I was running up and down the court trying, and I felt like just like doing that, it just took me back to them times, and I just wanted to like really say something, to them, because I mean, like, y'all really should have beat that game.
Oh yeah.
Y'all should have beat. You know what? Y'all should have beat quite a few more games.
Oh yeah.
And sometimes I guess you know what, you do need somebody to really coach or sit down. Like it's hard being a player coach at times. It's kind of hard, because you focus on out there playing, and like sometimes you don't see everything that a coach can see from the sideline. So
that's another thing I try to do for my players. I try to make sure I hear their perspective too, because there's two different perspectives. Like I might be seeing one thing, and they're seeing something totally different because they're on the floor. And I can always think back to instances where, I'm kind of getting on my player because I feel like he missed, making a pass or something, and then he goes to, he gets frustrated. I mean, it's a passionate sport. Emotion comes out. And then, I'm asking them, I'm like, well, tell me what you see. And, immediately they get defensive. Like, what you mean? Like, I'm like, listen, I want to know because I'm not in your shoes. I can't see the floor from the same angle as you. So it might look like the pass is there from me, but you might not be seeing it. So I'm asking you so I can then think about, all right, how can I tweak this play so that this pass is a little bit easier for them? So that's something I love to do too, just hearing their perspectives and, also helping them. You ask me what qualities that have kind of grown for me since coaching. I think one of the biggest qualities that grow for my players, and helping them develop is I think they're better able to communicate and express themselves. A lot of times with school and at home, they have these authority figures, and I feel like a lot of times they're not given the opportunity to express how they're feeling or their thoughts, especially when there's conflict. If you're in the classroom and you make the teacher upset, they probably going to try to shut you up as soon as they can so they can get back to teaching or just to make an example. But I try to do things a little bit differently. If we're going back and forth on something because we disagree, I want you to really tell me what you're feeling, what you're seeing, what you're experiencing, so that we can come up with a solution together.
Right.
And they're better able, and you'll see, like, when the first few times you ask a guy to do that, it's like he can't do it. Like, he can't tell me what's going through his mind. Like, for whatever reason, he doesn't want to, or he just doesn't have the ability. But the more you put him in that position and give him the opportunity to do it, you'll start to see him, like, kind of take that deep breath. And, they're like, well, what I thought was happening, or, well, what I saw was this, and that's why I did that. And it's like, okay, all right, cool, I saw that too. Or, you know what, I didn't see that. So thank you. Be like, let's try this now. And they're like, all right. And so now you have that relationship, and, that trust is built. And that just goes such a long way.
Well, that's the communications of it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to have that. You got to do that.
Yeah. I think we got to get ready to bounce.
Yeah.
Been a great show.
Well,
Appreciate the questions, man.
I enjoyed this show here.
It's funny. Last night I was going through playbook. I'm in coach mode. So when I'm not doing work for work or podcast work, now I got my third job again as coaching. So I gotta get ready again.
I'm kind of really excited to be able to really see you coaching. Because this is going to be my first time really seeing you coach.
Yeah,
and
you can see me almost get teed up some days.
Yeah, I can see that. So, I'm kind of more excited than this than come and watch you play basketball. I really want to see you on the sideline.
You want to know what's funny? I'm almost more excited to coach than play at times now. Like that now that this PSL season just ended, I'm like, cool, I can focus on coaching now.
Yeah.
So definitely look forward to having you in the stands.
Well, I'm looking forward to come seeing your tryouts and all like that. I'm looking forward to that.
Come see what I go through.
Before I start seeing you coaching and like that, I want to see you prepare and everything else.
Yes, we're gonna make that happen. But
Definitely.
Before that, what we need to happen?
Huh?
Before that, what do we need to happen?
Before what? Before the season start?
Yeah. We need everybody who's listening to this episode to throw a little pass over to someone else.
Get an assist.
Yeah, get that assist.
Yeah.
Let somebody else score that bucket.
Yeah.
So yeah, share this episode. If you're on YouTube, make sure you subscribe, hit the red button. And also make sure that bell is clicked. That way, when the episode is posted at 6:02 on Sunday, or at 6:02 on Wednesday when we do our NBA/basketball hot take episodes, you're going to get that notification. That way you don't miss a beat.
That's
no
right.
plays off. Think of each episode as a play. We taking no plays off. Playing every possession here. And also, if you're listening on YouTube, remember, you can listen on the go. So with YouTube, you always got to have the screen up. If you want to put your phone in your pocket, check us out on Apple Podcasts. Especially if you got an iPhone, it's a free app. Free access to all our episodes. But if you're a Spotify person, we on that too. If you're not really a fan of either, check out Stitcher or Podbean. We out there. We are very accessible. But yeah, that's all I got.
Well, I guess we're in this for this week. And I would like to say, God bless all. And like he said, reach out and get assist. Pass this on to somebody. Somebody new. Just one person.
All right, we out.
Peace.